Hello everybody, welcome to a Facebook Live with Jeannie. I am Jeannie Nielsen, the card lady, and I'm very excited to be here today. I wasn't sure if I was going to have my stuff done or not, but with a little help from my friends, thank you Judy for your last card that put me over the edge so that I could actually complete my card class before my Facebook Live. I have a great class to share with you. This is going to be my live class on Thursday night, featuring the Mediterranean Blooms and the Citrus Blooms stamp set. And I've got a couple of papers to show you, and the stamp set and some dies and some great cards. And I'm very excited about that. So that is this Thursday. I'm doing a class at 1 o'clock and I am doing a class at 7 p.m. Here in my card studio in Lynnfield, Massachusetts. Anyway, it's been a long time. I've worked a lot of Mondays. I was laughing with somebody last week and I said, at that point I had said, I am never working another Monday in the hospital, in the clinic again. And since then, I have worked 6 of the last 7. So I'm very excited to be home today, this Monday. I had a lot of work to do. I've been working on my website. I've been working on this card class. I've been working on my retreat. I've been working on my room. I'm getting a lot done. Before I go any further though, I want to thank everyone for your prayers for my mother-in-law. Those that are local, and maybe not even everybody that's local, but everybody that I came into contact with knows about the situation with my mother-in-law. She's been very, very ill. She came down with a case of pneumonia, an aspiration pneumonia. I'm not sure how or when that happened, but she was hospitalized last Sunday night, and by Wednesday night they flew her to Erie by helicopter to be in a higher level ICU. She is now off the ventilator. She's doing well. She's still on high oxygen. She's still on steroids and antibiotics, but she is making progress, and my husband and I thank you for the prayers. The whole family thanks you for the prayers. They were supposed to be out here visiting this weekend, so I might not have done a Facebook Live if she had been healthy and visiting. So I'm very excited that I could be here today with you. Okay, let's not go on and on anymore. I do want to say though, if you haven't signed up for the Crafters Crop, which is at the church in Lynnfield, Massachusetts, about half mile from my house, there's a beautiful basement room, well lit, very airy, lots of room, as well as a kitchen that we can use. And that's next Saturday, the 27th. Okay, so let me show you, first of all, the paper from Mediterranean Blooms. Mediterranean Blooms the paper was back ordered for a little bit, the gems were back ordered for a little bit, but everything is back. I think that the dies or the stamp set might be back ordered, so I apologize, but as soon as it comes back, you're going to want to order it because it's that great. I've got 4 wonderful cards to share with you, but let me flip down to flip up. And if you haven't noticed, I'm wearing my shirt. I have a lady, one of my patient's daughters always calls me Lemonade because the first time she met me, I was wearing this. I thought it was the perfect shirt to wear for today. So anyway, okay, I'm gonna flip up to flip down so you can look at the paper, look at my cards, and we are going to make 4 fabulous cards. Okay, so we're gonna flip up. There we go. And now I'm gonna flip the camera around. And we're going to be right in camera so you can see this. Okay, so this is the beautiful designer paper, and I have scraps of only a couple of the sheets. I've got more paper coming on Wednesday, thankfully. Let's start with the papers I have. I actually didn't end up using this paper at all with the oranges and the lemons. It just didn't work for me, but I'm going to work on something because I do really, really like this pattern. And then it has the large mosaic ceramic tile look that is so Italian, Greek, Mediterranean. So that's that pattern. I love the lemon lolly flowers in this. I love fine prints. It reminds me of calico when I was sewing for my daughter way back when. She's now going to be 29 in a few weeks, so it's been a long time. And here again is another tile pattern, which is really pretty. I think I'm drawn to the tile anyway because it reminds me a little bit of the Delft blue that my parents grew up with coming from Holland. But anyway, here is an orange pattern, a small orange, very dense orange pattern. And I love this pattern on the back. This navy is probably one of my favorite patterns, believe it or not. Then we have this pattern right here, the large yellow lemons. And I was thinking I should show you a card so you know what I'm thinking. Well, maybe I'll show you in a second. Let me get to this one. This is the dense lemon paper, and it has another beautiful pattern on the back, which I also love. It reminds me of daisies. This pattern right here is the oranges. And this is the one that I had used a lot of this pattern, so I didn't have a whole lot. I am going to show you a card that I made with these oranges. And yes, that's how I say it. I say oranges. Some people get down on me and say it's orange, but it depends on where you are from, right? Anyway, I wanted to show you here. We've got the oranges here. We have the lemons here. And then there's two dies that are part of this stamp set. So one of the dies is this one, and then you've got this one, which is much larger. So it obviously cuts out multiple fruits, right? Well, it does not cut out the lemons. It only cuts out the oranges. So I wanted to tell you that. Unless somebody has figured out something that I have not, you can't use the dies to cut out the lemons. It's pretty easy though. I think you could hand cut it if you chose to. I did not. But the stamps, you can easily make them into lemons when you're coloring. And then you've got the dies here. So this is one of the dies. And you can see that it cuts out, well, it's not, you can't see the whole pattern because this one is a little cut off, but the multiple oranges here and the leaves. And I think I counted 7 in one sheet that you could cut out. Well, this one also cuts out this one right here, I've figured out. So hopefully you can see that. Right here we have the oranges that you can cut out. So those are the dies, and then there are a couple of flower dies that are part of it, and a couple of leaf dies. This is one of the leaf dies, but I bet you can't wait to see. Well, let me show you the stamp set very quickly. It's a bunch of words, and it's this that could be, I colored these as lemons, even though they probably, you know, you could also even color them as limes if you want. Maybe grapefruits. It's a little bit small for a grapefruit, but you get the idea. But I colored them as lemons, even though they aren't the lemon shape. Okay, so let me show you the cards. Okay, this is my first card. Love this card, and it's so easy. So we're going to make this card right now. It is on a Daffodil Delight base. Yes, I stamped the inside. Are you impressed? It is on a piece of Daffodil Delight cardstock that is 5.5 by 8.5 inches, and then it is scored at 4 1/4 right in the middle. So this is half of a sheet of the paper. I chose Daffodil Delight, and what I did and what I'm going to do, because I wasted a whole sheet of paper when I did this, what I did was I added this DSP. And this is very similar to a card class I did a few weeks ago. This paper is 3 inches by 4 inches. And I wanted to show you, did I take it with me? I wanted to show you how I was going to cut that. I guess I didn't, but if you have a 6 by 12 inch piece of paper, you cut it at the 6 inches, then you cut it at 4 inches, and then you cut the 6 inches in half, and you've got 3 by 4. So you can get, if I've done the math correctly, I think you can get 12 out of each sheet of paper. Could be more like 16. I didn't do the math. I'm just telling you, I think that's what it is. But what you're going to want to do first is stamp the sentiment here. These are red rubber stamps, so they're not as clean as the photopolymer, and they're not as easy to see through. But what I have decided is I'm going to stamp the Just Checking In, just like I did on this card right here. I'm going to stamp it at the bottom in Night of Navy ink. I could use Memento if I wanted a cleaner ink, but I'm going to use Night of Navy ink. And I'm going to stamp it before I attach my paper, and I'll tell you why. If you have, because this is a narrow stamp, and I twice ended up with a halo around this and nothing I could do about it. Maybe I could have popped it up. I could have popped it up, I guess. But I didn't. I ended up with a halo around it and wasted a whole sheet of paper because I'd already glued this on to the top like that. Let's stamp first so that if I stamp that halo again, which is entirely possible because I did it 3 out of 4 times. Let's see if we're going to do that. I'm just tapping it, and you can see here, and I better get rid of this right now, you can see the ink on the edge here. Now, if I remove this, like I'm going to, make sure that you don't touch your paper because that's the other thing I did. I did a beautiful job stamping, and then I touched my paper and I got blue ink all over. So let's just remove that blue ink right now. And then I'm just going to make sure I'm stamping this the right direction. And I've already lined it up on my stamp, so I'm just going to go down just like that, just checking in. Ta-da! Because I took all those precautions, if I had glued this on, I'm telling you, it would have had a halo, or I would have gotten blue ink on it. That's just the way it works. So take the time to stamp before you attach your designer paper, and it's going to work out much better for you. Okay. So now I can add my 3x4 inch piece of DSP. I'm just adding a little bit. I don't need a whole lot of glue. And this is, like I said, the dense orange pattern on the back. Let me make sure. The nice thing about glue is that you can move until you can't. You can move your designer paper, kind of slide it around with the glue. But once it's down, it's down. And then you have to use the undo, and you have to use it and be patient with it, because I think I showed you a couple of weeks ago something I took off with using that undo, and boy, did I make a big mess. Okay, the one thing that I'm going to do before I start now is grab my white ribbon. This is the iridescent striped ribbon that I'm going to use. And yes, I left it on my other table. This is beautiful ribbon. It was on low inventory. It's actually sold out right now. I'm using this for 2 of my cards. I love iridescent stuff. I love anything that has glitter and shine. So what I'm going to do is tie this around this layer, and I'm going to fiddle with it until I have a little bit of a tail. I'm going to tie my bow just like that. Beautiful. It's a little bit of a short tail. Let me move it a little bit. Otherwise, it's a pretty nice bow. Just like that. Okay. So let me take my scissors here. And I'm going to cut my tail. I always leave my ribbon attached when I'm cutting because then I end up wasting maybe only a little bit of the ribbon on the side. But I'm usually a pretty good judge of how much ribbon to use, or to leave with the tail. So anyway, here we go. And what I'm going to do now is attach this to my Daffodil Delight card base. So let me do that really quickly. And then I'm going to show you how I colored one of the stamps. This is the one, like I said, it's kind of, it looks like lemons because I love yellow and blue so much. But I have to tell you, I can tell you from the shape that it's not lemons. Don't let that get you upset, okay? Okay, so I die cut and stamped my image already. And you can see that I got really close to the die cut. And I'll tell you why I got really close to the die cut. It's not because I fussy cut it. It's because when I cut the first time, I think I had so much white on the bottom and I got really close to the top. So what I did was I ran it back through my machine, my Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and I just moved it down or moved up the die so it was a little bit closer to the edge. And the closer you get, so that's one way to get almost no white. You can move it down and then move it up and run it through twice. But that's why that looks that way, not because of anything. That's not how the die cuts. You can tell here I have some really pretty perfectly white edges around all the way around. Okay, I'm going to just show you how I colored this real quick. It's very, very quick. I'm going to use Daffodil Delight, Lemon Lolly, and Old Olive. So I've got my Stampin' Blends, just like this. Okay, what I'm going to use the Lemon Lolly for are my flowers. So I can see that this is my light Lemon Lolly because I can see that this is my dark. I do have tags on the end. I make sure that I always have tags so I can see what I'm doing. But anyway, so this is the light and this is the, this is the light and this is the light. So there is no dark. Okay, my dark must be on the table over there. But anyway, what I'm going to do then is just use a little bit of the light. No, there's the dark. Oh, sorry, people. I'm having a hard time here. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to use the dark Lemon Lolly and just do the lines of the flowers very quickly. Nothing fancy. And maybe just a little bit of the center as well. I'm going to do the same for up here on the blooms, the buds that are up here. I'm just very, very quickly doing that. And then what I'm going to do is take my light Lemon Lolly and I'm just going to color it in. Just like that. And I'm not going to do anything fancier than that. Now, what I did with the lemon, or what I'm calling a lemon, is I took my Daffodil Delight. And this is my dark Daffodil Delight. My light must be on the table there. And what I'm going to do is just add it. You know, the artist here has already given me what to use as colors. I'm going to try the dark Lemon Lolly and see if that's enough for this. I may have to run over and get the light Daffodil Delight, but yeah, I think it's okay. So just like that, I'm going to go like that. Okay, the only reason why it might not be okay is because my flowers are kind of blending in. Okay, give me a second. Let me see if my... Okay, well, I don't see that right now. So anyway, maybe I'll just use a little bit of the Daffodil Delight around the edge here, just so I can make the distinction between the flower, just like that. And then I'm just going to blend it a little bit, just like that. What I'm going to do with this is use my dark Old Olive, and I'm just going to very quickly, and I mean very quickly, I'm just going to follow the lines. The nice thing about being an artist is that, just like in nature, things don't have to be perfect. And I'm not going to color everything today. Actually, there is one other thing that I'm going to try coloring, but anyway. There we go. I was going to cut this out for you guys instead to save some time, and that's when I discovered that there is no die to cut out the lemons on the paper. So, see how fast I'm coloring? It doesn't, I could take my time and I would probably do a much better job if I did. But anyway, I just want to attach this to the paper because then this card is going to be done. And what I'm going to end up doing is adding some of the gems here. These are the Opal Rounds assortment. Oops. These are the Opal Rounds assortment. You've got your blues, your gold, and your clear, and they're so pretty. Like I said, they were sold out for a while, but what I would do now is if you are going to make this card or you have this paper, run, don't walk, to order these gems because they're so pretty. Okay, so there we go. And all I'm going to do now is take some dimensionals and I'm going to attach this onto my card. So I could attach it any way I wanted. I could attach it like this if I wanted to. I also could have used the other stamp, and this is the other stamp, and then it would have taken up more room. This is the other stamp with the multiples, and I could have colored the yellow. I think I like it this way. The other this card, I have the stem facing up. I'm going to do the stem facing down this time. Let me just add a couple of dimensionals to this. I think the key to a lot of cards, making them look professional, is giving them the dimension, and that doesn't take a lot of extra work to do at all. Okay, everybody, tell me how your weather is where you are. Is it as warm there as it is here? We have a heat advisory. They said it was tomorrow morning until tomorrow evening. And then last night we got this heat advisory and they said, just kidding. The heat advisory is now starting tonight, last night, and it's going to last until tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. And then I got today another advisory and it says, okay, now, surprise, it's going to last until Wednesday. So that means we're going to be in the 90s until Wednesday. So here we go, just like that. I added on this one, the yellow ones. I think on this one, I am going to add some of the blue gems. So just 2, I think. I'm going to add one there, and I'm going to add a little one right there. Okay, one more big one up here. Yep. Okay. Maybe. I'm going to do it just the same as I did here. You can see how I did it very similarly, big and little and a big. Here it's big and little and a big. So I don't know. Which one do you like better? Do you have a favorite? I mean, obviously I didn't color as great with this one because I was in a big hurry. But do you like the stem up or down? And do you like the blue gems or the yellow gems? But don't you just love this ribbon? It's just so pretty. So there you go. Here is my first card. You saw how quickly that went. And like I said, the DSP is 3 inches by 4 inches, similar to a card class I did a few weeks ago. Let me get my blends out of the way. We're going to use them maybe again. This is going to be my second card. Card number 2. Isn't that beautiful? Again, 3 inches by 4 inches, 3 inches wide, 4 inches high. This is the yellow paper. I was worried. I did this card with boho blue and the Poetic Expressions DSP a couple of weeks ago, and it was so pretty. I decided to do it again. Now, if I was going to really make this card a wow card, I think I would probably take a 4 by 5¼ inch piece of either white or mossy meadow, and I would emboss it with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Maybe I do the ferns folder. I'm not sure what color. I think the orange is the citrus one. Is that still around? I'll have to look because I could certainly do the citrus one. Maybe one of you guys could answer me. I'll look at I don't ever watch comments while I'm going because I can't do 2 things at the same time. But maybe you could answer me and tell me if you know if the hybrid embossing folder, the citrus hybrid embossing folder, is still around. In the meantime, let me show you how I made this card. And this is super, super, super easy. The only thing that I'm going to show you here is my ribbon. And I'll show you how I did that. I'm not going to color the whole thing because, first of all, it'll make a big mess of my glass mat. But this is how I did it. Look at what I did. I took the Daffodil Delight marker and I colored the length of this striped iridescent trim. Just like that, I colored the whole thing. And to color this, it took about 18 inches of ribbon. So you can get a lot of trim and a lot of cards out of one roll of ribbon because this ribbon is 10 yards. So if you think about 18 inches, that's half a yard. You could get about 20 cards out of one roll of ribbon. But anyway, let me just show you how I made this card very quickly. Everything fell out of it a little bit. Mossy Meadow. This card, I had to do it on a 4¼ by 11 inches. And you'll see why. That's the only way to tie the ribbon all the way around. I couldn't tie it just around this. It might have been a little bit too busy, I thought. I wanted it around the green. So you've got to have a 4 1/4 by 11 inches. If your card was, for instance, just like this card, obviously, there's no way to tie it around. This one, of course, has a layer where you could do it, and that's what I did here. But for this one, 4 1/4 by 11 inches. Then I have a piece of lemon lolly. And the lemon lolly is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 because, once again, my DSP is 3 inches by 4 inches. We're just going to glue that right on there real quick. It's only going to take a second. And I'm not going to attach everything because, like I said, I'm not going to take the time to make a mess of my glass mat and color this ribbon. But just know that you put it on a piece of scrap. Don't do it on a nice wood table. Make sure you've got scrap paper under here when you're using your blends because it does soak through. Obviously, this is a very airy ribbon. I ruined somebody's tabletop recently. Chrissy knows all about it, but we used the Stampin' Blends when they first came out, and boy, did I make a mess. Don't do that. Okay, so these are 2 things that I've done yet for this card. I did, so what I'm going to do is take a piece, did I bring that here? A piece of the hexagon. I'm going to use the hexagon stamp. I think it's going to fit on this piece of scrap because it doesn't look like I took scrap with me. I stamped this in Daffodil Delight. So let me do that very quickly. I've got my Daffodil Delight ink pad here. And I've got my Mossy Meadow, and you're going to need both of them. Let me move the blue, the Night of Navy, back into the thing. Let's see. I have here's my hexagon. I tried, you could do other things. I used just the sentiments from the stamp set, just to let you know. And yeah, I've got 2 more fabulous cards to show you, so don't go anywhere, people. But leave me comments because I want to hear all about where you live, what the weather's like, what you're working on. Are you getting a lot of stamping done? I'm going to go like this. Maybe we're going to go like that. Is that going to fit? It's going to be tight. There we go. It's going to be tight, just like that. I stamped that. And then where is my hexagon punch? I was cleaning up today, and apparently I cleaned up after myself, which is quite unusual. So here we have our hexagon punch. Hopefully by now you guys have it. They've been back ordered for a little bit. And then we're going to stamp the green. Now, I could stamp Happy Birthday in here from another stamp set. Like I said, I was sticking just to the sentiments from this stamp set. So you're the best kind of person. I don't know if I would say that to everybody, but I'm going to say it today to somebody special, whoever is getting this card. Okay, so we got our Mossy Meadow ink pad. This is red rubber. I lined it up. I took it and I where the straight line is on my stamp based on or in relation to the top of the stamp. And when I do that, I know that when I stamp and line up the top of the stamp, that my sentiment is going to be straight. Ta-da! So there we go. So that's my trick for you. Line up your stamp with the top edge of the stamp, and then then it's going to work out. I mean, sometimes stamps are a little wonky and it's hard to tell, but anyway. Okay, so I've got my hexagon punch, and I am going to punch this very quickly. And all I'm going to do yet, and I can do this without, I can attach this to my DSP just like I have here. I could pop this up. I think what I did was, on this one, I popped up the 2 layers, the lemon lolly with the DSP. So if you're going to pop up one layer, don't pop up another. Does that make sense? If I was doing this flat on the ribbon, and I certainly could because it's not a bulky ribbon, I could pop up this. but then I'd almost have to pop up my flowers too. So I think I'm going to stick to the same kind of plan, pop up just this layer, and I'm going to put this flat here. So I've added my adhesive to the back, and we're just going to do it just like that. And the only thing I would say to do quickly before you would finish attaching that is just add a little bit of glue. I did a die cut from Mossy Meadow. Just add a little bit of glue to your ferny leaf here, just like that. And you're going to try and, if you move fast enough, tuck that under just like that. Just like that, and that takes up a little bit, adds a little bit of something extra. Now what I'm going to do is just take my dark and light lemon lolly again, for my flowers. I'm using I have to tell you, when I did this, when I cut my flower, you're going to see something. Hang on one second while I finish coloring this, and I'll show you what I did. So I'm kind of using the wrong side, the brush side, to do my lines, which means it's going to be a little bit harder for my light lemon lolly to be the primary color. It's going to show up as mostly dark lemon lolly. But anyway, when I was die cutting, there are 4 dies that are part of this stamp set. There's 2 large flowers and there are 2 small flowers. And apparently, and so I stamped my 2 large flowers and I stamped my 2 small flowers. And then I went to die cut and I picked up 2 small dies. So one of these flowers, this flower is actually supposed to be die cut. Can you see this? This is actually supposed to be die cut large, just like that one. And instead, I used the small die for it. So I have 3 small ones only because of how I chose the die to work with this. So what I'm going to do is take my yellow. Oh my goodness, look at this. And I didn't even notice this, but I think it's okay. I stamped my flowers in Daffodil Delight here, and here I stamped them in Memento. So you can choose which way you like better. I almost think that I like it better with this because it's so much similar, so very similar to the designer paper, which is probably also stamped. So here, they look a little bit like bumblebees. I'm not sure that I like that, but because I'm not sure that I like that, I think I'm not going to attach it yet. But so once again, now that I've got this done, I'm going to pop this up over top of my ribbon that I've colored with my Daffodil Delight Stampin' Blend, the 18 inches of ribbon, and I've tied that into a bow. And then I've stamped my flowers in Daffodil Delight rather than in Memento like I did here. And I would color it with the lemon lolly. So we're going to wait on that. I'll show you what I did with the inside yet. I added just another leaf and another flower because I did cut out a large flower. So I have a large flower here, a small one here, and I actually popped that one up. I try not to pop up too much because going through the mail, you end up paying more. And as you probably know, stamps went up on Sunday. Not good. Okay, so that's the inside. So I will finish this card soon. I'm not going to take the time to finish it now, but now you know how I did it. So this is card number 2. I hope you love it. Okay, let me show you card number 3. And this card was inspired, not inspired, it was totally copied from Judy's card. Judy did this card, and she sent me her tutorial, and I just love this card. I love the tile look. I love the cutout oranges. But I was going to, because I only have 1 pack of this paper until Wednesday night, and Shirley is coming to help me today to cut, I actually stamped this one in Memento, and I'm going to color it yet today. At least a little bit. I'm going to try coloring it. So let me just make this card with you very quickly because it is a quick card. We've got our 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of paper. And on the back is the oranges that you can cut out, just like here. So, and if you look very carefully, I actually did cut it out of my paper because I didn't have enough paper so that we could prep tonight too. And I ended up cutting off a strip and gluing it back on. So do you see the little strip there? You probably can. Now this is our little secret. Don't tell anybody, okay? Especially if I give it to somebody that you know. So I am going to attach my tile patterned DSP. Just like that, to my Night of Navy 5.5 by 8.5 inch base, just like that. And then I have a 3 inch by 4.25 inch piece of basic white that I'm going to add to a 3.25 by 4.5 inch piece of Night of Navy. Okay. And I'm going to attach that right there. I could pop it up if I wanted to, but I'm probably going to pop up my oranges again. So what I can do is stamp the hello very quickly before I attach it so that if it's not right, I can flip it over, right? So hello is one of the stamps, and I'm going to stamp that in Night of Navy. And here's my hello. And once again, I lined it up with the top of the stamp right there. So I'm going to make sure that I do a decent job of stamping. So you don't smush it in there, you're just going to tap it just like that. And that's plenty of ink you see there, because so much of Stampin' Up's ink pads are so juicy in the foam now. So we're going to stamp it just like that, and hopefully that's pretty straight. That doesn't look bad at all. Let me move that out of the way, and then what I can do is attach this to my Night of Navy piece real quick. And then I've already stamped in Memento my orange bunch, and we're going to try coloring that similar to the papers because I didn't want to use another piece of paper. Okay, I'm trying to move this so that it is, like I said, the nice thing about putting it on glue is you can kind of slide it into place a little bit. So I'll put it there just like that. Let me close up this ink pad before I make a mess of everything. I'm going to do it just like that. Okay, so, and this is my inside. Okay, let's try coloring this. What I decided was I'm going to use the 2 Old Olive, but I'm not going to do that right away. We're going to do the Lemon Lolly like we did for the flowers and the tiny flowers. And we are going to, I chose a couple of different blends and I'm not sure which. Cajun Craze, I chose the dark and the light. I think I'm going to try the light. I chose a pumpkin pie, light pumpkin pie, because I figured that might be a little bit of that. And I chose a dark peach pie, because I'm not sure which one is which. So let's try it. I'm not going to do too much more than just color. I think I'm just going to color the oranges for now, because what you would do if you're at home with this paper is die cut or fussy cut if you did not buy the dies, but who wouldn't buy the dies if you buy the stamp set? The bundles are always 10% off when you buy them together. And of course, if this stamp set carries over, next year it will not be a bundle, which means that you won't save the 10%. So you're going to want to do this relatively soon. Okay, so all I'm doing here is using my light Cajun Craze, just like that. And we'll see how this is going to work. I'm going to try the dark peach pie. I didn't choose the light. I chose the dark peach pie. So let's see if I can, I think I'm going to end up using my color lifter because I don't like this. I can tell already. Maybe I should have done the dark Cajun Craze for my outside, because I could have done that. So here, we're going to try just really quickly. Let's just add a little bit more, and then I can color. I'm just going to go like this. We're just going to do this on one just so I can try this. This is the dark Cajun Craze, and now I'll use my light Cajun Craze. And maybe what I'll do is even do a little bit of the light pumpkin pie in the center. So let's just go like this. We're going to color like that. And then I'll use the light again to kind of blend these colors on the outside. So let's just go like that, because and maybe I'll use my color lifter. I think what you're going to want to use when you finish is the paper. It's a little dark, don't you think? It's a tiny, tiny bit dark. Let me just try with the color lifter right out of the center. And the only reason I was doing this was because, like I said, I wanted to save the paper, so I've got enough for it. So what I'm going to do, this is the color lifter. It doesn't completely move it, but it's almost like a bleach pen. So we're going to go like this, just right here. I could even do it a little bit on the outside and see if that helps. And see if that gets close to our color over here. It pretty much is not going to, but it was a nice try, right? So close, but no cigar. I like this one better. So what I did was, like I said, my lemon lolly, I did the dark lemon lolly for, I'm going to use this for my flowers. I'm going to just follow the lines. And then a little bit for the buds, follow the lines, do my center, and then just like that, I'm going to do the same thing for, oh, there's more buds over here. I didn't see them before. I wonder if I didn't color them at all yet. This might be my first time coloring this, but anyway, the lemon lolly, we're going to just color in the flower very quickly, and then once again I'm going to use my old olive. You could also, if you wanted to, you could use your mossy meadow possibly, and I don't know if you remember, but I used old olive and shaded spruce, and I almost made a garden green color. Not quite, but almost. So, you know, I might as well finish this just to see. Just like that. I'm going to color where the artist chose to put a little bit of extra color. That's where I'm going to put it as well. Let me just do a little bit of pumpkin pie around here, around the center, just like that. A little bit here, just like that. And then I'm going to use my light Cajun Craze to kind of blend the stuff together, just like that. So it's a nice try. I guess, like I said, I like the other look better that was on the paper, and I'm not quite sure how to color that, but I'm just doing this very quickly to try. And maybe I'll see if putting it over the pumpkin pie gives it a different color too. Not bad, not terrible. So what I'm gonna do is pop this up here on my thing, add some dots, and voila, we have a beautiful, beautiful card. Here are the dots again. I used the Night of Navy because I could use the clear, but the yellow, it's gonna be a little bit washed out. What you could do if you wanted to is add a knot of this ribbon right to here if you wanted to have some ribbon on it. But I'm going to finish this card, not right now, but here is card number 3. Ta-da! Okay, I'm very excited for card number 4 because once again, it is the same as my other cards where it is the 3x4 designer paper. And here is card number 4. And if you like yellow, you're going to love this. Very easy card to do. This is Cajun Craze. It's 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8, which leaves me a 4 1/4 inch piece in the middle, which is just like a normal card front. I just made it a little bit of a fancy fold. So let me see where I put I had everything all ready to make this card. Here it is. Okay, so like I said, 2 1/8 and 6 3/8 on the 5.5 by 8.5. So on the long side, you scored it 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. That leaves you your 4 1/4 piece in the middle. Just like that, it looks like a normal card front. Okay, next what I did was, this white is for the inside. I have 2 pieces of this DSP. I wanted a little bit of a border. Because it's 5.5 inches high, I wanted this to be 5 1/4 inches. And because this is 2 1/8, I had to take off a 1/4 inch of my width, which means it's 1 7/8. So 2 pieces that are 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. And what I'm going to do is just attach them to my front panels, just like that. Kind of make sure they're straight and evenly spaced. Let me do this again with this one. I'm not making sure that they're lined up for when I cut it. They could be, but that wasn't my priority today when I cut it. So here we go, like that. Okay. So now this is our middle of our card, and what I did was I have a garden green piece of paper. Because this is 3 by 4, this is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 inches. And I'm just going to attach that right to the center of my piece here. And what I'm going to do is attach that to the front of my card here, adding adhesive only to one side. So what I want to do is make sure that I have adhesive only on one side. I'm going to put this up, and that's kind of, well, you know what I could do? No, I am going to put this up, because if you see this one, it's going to block a lot of the yellow flower or the yellow lemon, putting this down here. So I have my Everyday Details die cut, which I'm going to just attach right down here. And we'll see if that makes it a little bit odd, since it is, I could go like that. I'm going to put it just down, evenly spaced from my left corner and my bottom corner right there. And then I have another, oh, I didn't do it. I bet I didn't do it. I was going to do another, this one is the same. You've got another lemon, just like I did on my first card. You're going to color this with the lemon lolly and the a little bit, I think this was maybe light daffodil delight right there, because this is a little bit yellower or lighter yellow than this one is. You can see this one is a darker yellow. But anyway, that is going to be attached right here. And then I am going to attach this to my card front, adding adhesive only to this side. So I've got to pay attention. And what I do is, if I know which side it is, I put my thumb on that side so that I say, oh, I'm not going to go over the half line, just like that. And I'm going to make sure I put it on the right side. So that's what we're doing right here. And because I didn't stamp my lemons, I can't die cut them either, and it would take a while to color them, but you get the idea. This is the same kind of thing. 3 by 4, 3 by 4 DSP, and 3 by 4 DSP. So there you go. 3 different cards using the 3 by 4 DSP. You could almost do that here, except that this would be more the this basic white. Instead of doing it 3 by 4 1/4, you could do it 3 by 4 possibly. Kind of scrunch it up, and then you'd have the same idea here on this card. But that is very similar to other cards that I've done, and I just love the card that Judy made, so I copied it entirely. So here you can see I added some yellow dots. On the inside, you can stamp anything. I wish there was like a single lemon or a single leaf, and that's probably the only downfall about this stamp set. Where did I put the stamp set? You can see that there are only little just like this, but that, you can see that's a pretty big image right there, and then a bigger one. So you probably don't want to necessarily stamp that on the inside, unfortunately. You've got this little pattern you could do, or you could do a couple of the flowers on the inside if you wanted to, but I would have loved a leaf. But anyway, so my 4 cards, just so you can see them very quickly. This is it, and here is card number 4. So I hope that you love it, and you know what, I'll add a hostess code, and if you guys want this stamp set or this card kit in the mail, place a $50 order. That's going to be double dipping for you, because you will also get a $5 bonus coupon from Stampin' Up in addition to this card class in the mail. And you do that before the end of next week. And I'm going to make a couple of extra kits for my retreat for people that are coming. So if you want to sign up and say, take the kit to go, I will bring the stamp set and the blends and the card kit already ready to go to retreat. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is flip back. There we go. Because I wanted to say goodbye to you. Thank you so much for joining me. I had a great time today. I always have a great time. I know that I kind of get worried about what I'm going to share, but I'm so excited about these cards, and I hope you love them too. Have a great night. Make sure you sign up for my card class. Mwah! Love you. Bye.